and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Monster Noire, Russian Winter. Today is January 27th, 2021, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us there. But if you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on YouTube, Twitch, all of those other fantastic places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this incredible show? Well, guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, posters, mugs, crop tops, throw pillows, aprons, shower curtains, journals, and most importantly, in the year 2021, we also have Tia masks. That's right, we have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, made by our very own Cyberwolf1201, where all of the proceeds end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or help support the show, you can again go to Indoor Adventure, there's no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, Satan, who you playing today?
Hi, I'm Satan, and today I will be playing Lilith, the vampire mobster, and I'm excited to see what the fuck's gonna happen today.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'll be playing Beltane Hawthorne, the Fae mobster, and I'm equally excited because I did something bad. It's fine.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings. I'm going to be playing as Dimitri, the bumbling beast. Maybe we'll find out what that means.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be playing as Arthur, the disenfranchised king. You'll find out more about that as the night progresses, because I don't really know what it means either.
And I'm Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and tonight I will be the storyteller here at the Monster Noire. A little bit about Monster Noire. It's an improv show that we kind of started playing and refused to stop. So every time you come in, you just expect supernatural, Hellboy, urban shadows, or dark shadows, not urban shadows. That's an actual role play game, not like this, which is what we just made up in the middle of the night one time. So until the time comes that we do indeed use a real system, that's what you're stuck with. Okay, with that, the world itself has a veil. The people are mundane. A lot of people cannot see the supernatural. Our characters are all supernatural beings, and we will not introduce Wings and or Indoor this evening until they show up, and they don't know when they're going to show up. They literally made these characters in the last 40 minutes. That's how improv this show
I am still making my character. 40 minutes is a very large stretch.
Okay, yes. Wings had no idea what she was playing until 8 minutes ago or so. So, very improv. And with that, we will let Beltane first, then Lilith, describe themselves and where they're at currently, and then I'll bring us into the scene. Beltane.
Beltane has Lilith in his arms and is carrying her towards a village that he has found off a distant coast in Russia. They just got done putting a primordial into a volcano. And now, after running away from Lilith, he had turned back and scooped her up and started huffing it towards this village. Because though he is a dick, he is a person who still cares about Lilith.
What does Beltane look like currently?
Currently, he has this Mad King sort of look about him. Has a red crown made of some odd substance around his head. hair's going from black to a more faded, deep red, and his skin's going from a pale blue, warping into almost a green color. And his once very nice mobster clothes are starting to flake away into ivy, leaves, petals.
Are they like tastefully placed, or are they more like scale armor, like the leaves are in a set pattern?
Oh, he's full lizard man.
Ah, got it, cool, excellent. uh all right, and in his arms is the nearly dead, for the second time, uh Lilith. Could you describe Lilith for us?
Yes, like we mentioned, Lilith is in Beltane's arm. She has lost a lot of, you think blood, but it's actually energy, which consumes her blood. And she is on the verge of passing out in his arms. I would imagine the world is blurry to her. It comes in and out at times. She's clinging to what she can, and I would say she kind of feels the certain leaves and petals falling on herself from Beltane. And anyone looking from the outside would see, without the veil, would see a very pale woman, black veins coming in from her neck, uh, from how close to death she is. Uh, Bright red irises with black scleras, black long hair with a almost like a birthmark of white hair that comes from parting and frames the front of her face. In a very once lavish, now kind of crumpled black dress I think she was on in last time, if not as a black suit. And she's just looking, trying to focus in on like the world. She doesn't look like her eyes are focused.
And like we've said a bunch of times, it completely doesn't matter what it was, because now it is. If it's because it's improv,
Yeah.
we can sometimes backtrack if it's important to the story, but for the most part,
Let's say it's a dress because drama.
perfect.
And
Now,
as always, she has perfectly deep blood red lipstick on. No matter what's happened, it's still perfectly on her.
and so, uh, Beltane, are you like baby carrying her, kind of like this, or is it more of the dramatic, like she's like lumped across your arms?
More dramatic, but he's holding her close more to
Okay.
protect her because he wants to get to this village close. Even through his madness, he still has a sense of duty towards Lilith and wants to try and protect her.
Okay. And so real quick, because the audience will need to know, why is he maddened?
Oh, he's maddened because a series of events that happened last game. I believe it was the abyssal turkeys that we took on that primordial titan that we stuck into a volcano. Kind of went mad through a series of events, got shot up by one of his best friends, and is pretty mad about that. And doesn't actually want to kill him, just talk to him. He just wants to talk. And so he's teetering on this sense of madness because he just is consuming too much.
And Lilith, what was the reason, or what's the reason you're almost dead? Muted.
She had come to this volcano searching for Beltane, who had popped off with fuck, why are names escaping me? Kane. I don't know why Clint was the name that came to mind. I think I was thinking Keys also.
Yeah.
But she went into this volcano, saw what's happening, and was trying to both calm Belting down because in his blood craze he seemed to want to kill and was ready to kill said village that we are going to, and kill Philly, and because she took away his quarry and Lilith was following him. They were both. It was this weird, like almost Jumper the movie chase.
Mhm.
Like he was popping away, and she was running after him because she's very fast. But the more she uses that power, the more it consumes her energy and her life essence. So at the end, she was very very close to just the running and the vampire powers just consuming all her life essence until Beltane picked her up and after saying some really mean things to her.
After
Put
you
that
had
out there.
after you had kind of collapsed in the snow at the vehemence of his statements. Okay, so with that, we come in because that basically was the previously on Monster Noir, blah, and that's all they need to know. And so it is night. The wind is howling. The snow is whipping. We come in from above and behind the two of them, kind of a 3/4 shot, and we move down through the snow. Everything out is black. The entire universe is black except for where it's white. The snow and the blowing snow is the only white we see. And as we swoop in on them, we come across Beltane's shoulder, and we see Lilith's face, and we see the wind. We see her dress blowing behind, and then we swing this way, and we see distant lights. They're not electric lights. It's obviously kerosene lanterns, fire. It's an orange light, not the iridescence of electric bulbs. As we see, we kind of see from Beltane's feet moving in the snow. Do you have an effect on the snow, Beltane?
He would have some minor effects, but since it's not his element or his season, he would be very minimal.
Okay. All right. So as we watch Beltane's steps go, we hear some dogs barking in the village, and we see a lantern swinging, like a door has opened briefly, and there's light pouring out, and then suddenly a lantern comes up, and then the door closes, and all we see is the lantern swinging in the dark as it comes forward. And as it gets there, your heightened senses, you can now see like an older bearded man comes into view with the light from his lantern, and him trying to see beyond it. He's holding it out to the side, and as the light, the orange infects the white of the snow that we see, and it comes upon your countenance, we as the old man see you guys' true form. He can see beyond the veil, and he immediately shouts, Obadiah! Obadiah! Diavolo! Diavolo! And he runs. He just flees back towards the village, yelling that same phrase in Russian. And you see that in some of the houses, the lights go out. and in other houses, you see silhouettes moving about in the light. What do you do, Beltane?
He pauses and kind of straightens up. That's unfortunate. As he just vanishes and appears in front of this old man. Sorry.
And he lands in the snow, and we see in subtitles, he says, the devil, they got me, the devil.
I'm just gonna grab him and pull him back to Lilith where I had set her down and put him in front of her.
Okay.
And say, it's not the best meal.
And the old man is like panicked. And oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You set the scene. Tell me
Well,
what to do.
so you're laying there weakened. This old man is like been knocked down in the snow, and then lifted and placed at your feet like it's not the best meal, and he's looking up all like panicked, and
I
Dimitri,
think. Go ahead.
Dimitri, do you want to intercede in this? Seeing this vampire about to eat one of the villagers?
I feel like Dimitri might be something of a protector of this village. I actually wrote down one of his features as being loyal to a fault. I haven't exactly decided what that means yet, but I feel like this could come up. There is a streak of white that comes out from the remaining lights of the village. And a canine figure comes lumbering towards you. And it skids to a stop in the snow between you and the old man. And what you see is a very kind-eyed, very fluffy Samoyed, and it's just kind of growling.
You see, if Beltane had left Lilith in the snow to do this, you see this dark figure kind of sitting up with pushing herself up with her arms that are as white as the snow is where she's laying, and like bright red iris looking at this large white canine form. And
Looking at this thing, it just looks like a dog.
mhm. In her, it's strange because she's in this like wary state where she doesn't know what's real or not. So she looks at this dog, and all you see is, without anything coming, any words coming from her, is the white hand, probably with black claws, reaching towards this dog
Bork, bork,
very slowly.
bork, bork.
And it
Grr.
all you see is like her finger coming and just booping his nose.
Confused whining, and then some sniffing, and then a lick of the finger.
I mean, she's a vampire. I don't know if you can taste that as a dog, but I think she will say something in Russian, and you hear a very tired laugh from her that says, "You remind me of someone, little one," in Russian. And she looks at, even though it looks like a dog, she kind of has experience with creatures like this, so she's gonna just be like, "I need to eat." Like talk to it.
And then, so from there, I'm gonna Indoor. Do you live in this village? Okay. All right. I did have an idea for you, but that's fine. That's. Do you want to interject in this scene, or do you want to? Hmm.
I want to say you recognize this barking.
So night shirt. Okay. All right. All right.
There's
Okay.
that dumb dog out in the snow, kind of looking at you and wagging his tail. Boof.
It's away enough that you'll have to like yell, and unless Arthur has some kind of special dark vision or whatever, yeah, you see a lantern in the snow. Yes.
Boof.
And,
It's a loud
and
bark.
and while that's happening, the old man is scrambling away. Your dinner is trying to get away. Like he's gotten away just enough to like think maybe I should turn over and stand up and not scoot on my butt in the snow. But
As
not
it does that, a hand just shoves him back down. No.
okay.
Grrr.
All you see is Lilith in front of this dog Dimitri, who she does not know is called Dimitri. She disappears almost in a puff of smoke, and you see that fog kind of like move around Dimitri and solidify again as her with her hand pushing the old man down.
Arthur, are you headed that direction? All right. You've
I
got
realized I was muted throughout that entire interaction, which is beautiful.
Ooh.
Yep. So to everybody at home, Arthur is a very tired man. He's probably like 28, mid-30s. Who knows? Like I said, I was muted on the stream side, not on the Zoom side. That's the faulty of buttons.
Oh my god, they didn't get to hear. Oh.
Nope, nobody heard a single thing. That's all right. He's very tired in the eyes.
The Beatles king. So he's got a robe and his boots. No, probably socks if he wore socks to bed. And then does he have a certain iconic?
He does not.
Okay.
No,
All right.
he has his own lantern. You will find around him and in his house there are no sharp weapons to be found. Absolutely
Interesting.
None.
All right.
He doesn't like them.
Right. As you're lumping out towards this, you just, and can he see beyond the veil?
Yeah.
Ah.
Most certainly.
And has he dealt with vampires before?
Oh, probably. It's been a few years since he's had to deal with one, but you know they pop up every once in a while. A little bit annoying, but not too difficult.
So, yeah, as the lantern light, you see a vampire, just absolutely gorgeous, pushing the old man down into the snow, looming, and there's a figure beyond, and Dimitri is like bork, bouncing around trying to like sheepdog the evil.
I feel like if Arthur sees this with Lilith's hand down, just hey, Soda, none of that, not here. What do you think you're doing? Get out! No, not in this village. Leave him alone. He's nice. Oi! He's just like if you're like not listening, just I said move, get on. Shoo.
Lilith, have you like totes charmed the villager?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. It's better for the scene. He just, when you slunk over him and pushed him down, you just gave him the vampire eyes, and he just kind of like he just acquiesces, as it were. And now this English speaker is telling you to buzz off, shoo.
Get out of
What
here.
is
It's
it
not
with
for you.
People here interrupting my meal.
It's not your meal, is he? He's Pretty standard, man. You just need to leave him alone. If it's a meal you want, we got plenty of fish. Get you some. Eat those.
A
Dimitri,
voice from behind you, Arthur. She doesn't like fish.
I don't care what she likes and what she doesn't like. She's not eating another villager. Now get on.
Arthur, are you? Do you have an unbeknownst to the world valor or something that Okay, so basically, a fae, a creature appears behind you, and you have obviously been to the Feywild because, well, you're Arthur, and have dealt with said creatures. So you don't even twitch; you just keep talking, and
I think he kind of probably rolls his eyes like, oh, of course, this is fucking. Do you two know each other?
Yes.
Can you tell her not to eat one of the villagers? He's rather nice. He makes me hats.
If you have a villager that's not nice, we'll pick one off there.
Oh, plenty of villagers who aren't nice, but that doesn't mean you can go around eating them.
She won't kill them, necessarily.
I don't know. This one's pretty old. He might die.
and
Not another word.
Dimitri, you got fogged around, and now she's this old man's laying helpless, take me.
I don't think he minds, to be honest.
I think Dimitri spent a little while sniffing around in the snow trying to figure out where she is, and then has finally realized where she is, and he comes back, and he's gonna try and beg her to leave the old man alone. And I haven't figured out the mechanics of this exact power, but I have named it "Don't Give Me That Look."
You're gonna puppy dog eyes her.
I'm gonna give her some puppy dog eyes.
All right. I would assume that is a roll with charm.
Do I have to roll against it?
Yes, and you would have to roll with
Moxie?
Yeah, most likely that sounds about right. Either Moxie or Brains.
They're the same for me, so either works. It's 2d6, right? I keep forgetting
Yep.
every time. Oops. Let's see. I forgot to put my dice up. That is 8 plus 1, 9. It's a partial success.
Oh, I got a 7.
All right.
Aw.
So, this vampire is able to dismiss your puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Nobody
Big-
can
Says
own
you, Arthur.
Dimitri.
Big
Yeah.
slobbery head on your lap. Just it's a big dog, so it's like he's about to bowl you over. Just
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
Really do remind me of Son One Little One. I need to feed from someone. I'm not going to kill them. I'm just about to pass out.
You go to a
Love you,
different
would.
village, you find somebody else to eat, and then you can come back, and then we can
I
talk
could just
civil.
eat you.
Dimitri's gonna turn those eyes on Arthur.
Beltane's just standing there. I like Dimitri.
Hmm.
I won't kill you. You look like a healthy man, sort of. Might need a bit of sleep, to be honest.
You'll find that I'm a little bit more than you're willing to bite off for what it's worth. But look, all right, Dimitri, don't give me that look. No, she can't eat the old man. He makes good hats. No.
Pant. This is my best decision ever.
If I feed off you, then you won't die. If I feed off him, there's a 95% chance
If
he
you
will
fe-
die. And she's kind of like a little
If you feed off me, there's a 95% chance you'll find that my blood is a little bit more anointed than you're used to.
Mm.
fuck.
I was so waiting for it.
Here's
Are you a priest then?
Was for a bit. It didn't really take.
Oh,
So that
here's,
should
Well, it
be
took
out of your
enough.
system.
here's the other thing, Arthur. You know that Dimitri's not a dog.
I know. But when he's like this, when he gets like this, it's just,
Is it a bad idea to feed off of magical folk?
Generally speaking, it depends on the folk. Because the vampire.
Fair, no go.
all right. Well, he turns to Beltane, who is like full lizard person form. Just like, all right, look. Can you at least make him forget that he ever saw this? I don't need to be. He's already been screaming devil to the people of the village. If your friend does end up eating him, I don't want him telling, oh, I got these from something or other. Like, can you at least make him think that it was something not vampire related? Otherwise, I'll have to investigate it after you all toss off.
The wounds won't be there.
Yeah, you and I will have to talk, good sir, as I go over to the old man. Just pick him up. What are you?
It's no one important.
That's a lie. Just bop the old man on the head and just throw him to the ground. Right. He's forgotten.
So am I feeding off him or not?
Yes,
Now-
you can feed off the old man.
Beltane, did you magic bop him, or did you just like
Like
knock
Vulcan
him out?
grip, he's down.
No, I magic bopped him.
Okay, all right, okay. Because
It's the forget me
Well, I
stick.
killed him.
Yeah.
in the form you're in, I thought you'd be like snap his neck, huck the old man down, and just be like, yeah, he'll forget now. He's dead. So okay, no. So you like poof fairy dust him, and he's down. Which he'll be sad about because you gave him the charmed eyes, so he thought he was going to be kissed by this beautiful creature / vampire goddess, and now all he gets is a bop in the head. So all right, so go ahead, and it's a D6 points.
You could say,
a bad night for
roll
old
a
man
d4 to see how
Krabenikov.
much HP damage. So I have to roll a d4, which that means not a lot. It's not a lot. Rolled a 3, so I
Okay.
now have 4 HP, guys.
You'd have to rip through this whole village to probably get. So speaking of, at this point, you're hearing yelling from the village in Russian, and basically it's in Russian. Those of you who speak it, what's going on there? I see lights.
Arthur just like lets loose a big sigh, and then yells back like, he got into the sauce again. It's all right. Go back into your homes. I'll make sure he gets to bed okay.
Seeing witches, is he?
It's yes. It's just the wind.
Dimitri will go be a good rescue dog and lay down next to him and start nosing his head underneath the guy's arm to pick him up.
All right. Okay.
With her 4 HP, she stands and turns to Beltane and just points. And you little coward. And she's just poking at his chest.
Oh no. Okay. Dimitri is scared and he whines, like the tail goes between the legs, ears go back, and he's gonna find her another place to be.
Are you dragging the old man with you?
Yeah, he'll go take the old man home.
All right.
Yeah, I think.
Puts his head along the street.
Yeah, I think Arthur is also like, all right, let's get this old man out of here, and then just all right, look, it's fucking freezing out here. How about we just have a place? It's not out in this cold. You two don't exactly seem like you're necessarily affected by such things, but it is... No, I'm going to be quite honest. My balls are freezing out here. I'd rather be done with this whole fucking thing. I got a shack. It's a bit of a fixer-upper if you want to come by.
Well,
Lilith just looks at Beltane and then turns and just starts walking to wherever Arthur is pointing.
All right, Dimitri, make sure he gets home. Just like leaves you to like drag this old man through the snow by his collar.
Dimitri's a very responsible dog. He takes the old man home. He gets the keys out of the old man's pocket. He opens the door. He drags the old man in, kind of bumps his head against some furniture. You can see furniture bouncing as he goes by. Drags the old man into bed, thump. And then he pours him a nice glass of vodka.
Kind of like splashes it on the old man a little bit, so that way
Yeah.
he wakes up smelling of booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he like puts it in his mouth and kind of like glug 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 into the cup, and then like you see him like look over at the old man. He just kind of like like shakes a little bit onto the old man's face, and then just sort of like puts it down, nods at him, and it kind of does that dog sneeze, like.
I was so seeing Dimitri like lap to get some of the vodka, and then like lick the old man's face. So it's like dog spit and vodka.
Yeah, licking his chops, like that's the good stuff, and then he leaves.
All right. At Arthur's place, Lilith? Did you literally like walk past them and like lead the way to Arthur's house? Okay. All right, because I enjoy that imagery of Lilith vampiring her way across the snow, and then Arthur like dejectedly lumping along with his hands in his robe.
Fucking cold. Why am I out here? This is fucking stupid.
And then a fey god roaming through the snow. Like I said,
green leaves on the snow.
full black panel in back with white snow streaks, ground snow white. That's our vision as you enter the fixer upper, as it were. And Dimitri, you join them quickly. Let's rejoin there with all of you in the shed. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and like inside of the shed, like on the outside, it looks very much like a fixer-upper. Like there's like a hole in the roof. The windows are dark. They're like, I don't think they even have glass here, really, or like glass wouldn't be a thing that like you would have in the windows, really. So it's more just like shuttered, but like they still shake. A little bit of snow is coming in. But then on the inside, like there are just really worn pieces of like really old worn pieces of fabric, a really nice blanket that looks like it is just held together by threads at this point is just over a bed. It looks cozy, but definitely like one person sleeps here, and then there might be room in a corner for Dimitri to like lay down or something like that, if that's where Dimitri sleeps as well. I don't know.
That seems about right.
Just like there, like you have your own, like there's a dog bed. It's good enough.
So
Well,
It's like one table, one chair, no like extra cups or anything like that for anyone. Like it is a bachelor pad that does not expect company.
does Dimitri have their own place, or do they live as a dog generally?
Well, here's the thing. Dimitri's got a condition. And at night he's always a dog. And his true handsome form will come with the days,
Okay.
with the first light of day. But a dog bed works out well for him because he's a dog at night.
Got it. Okay. All right. So cozy place, one chair. Arthur, you sit on your bed, I would assume.
Yeah.
Beltane, how tall are you in this form?
He stands about 7'5", and he has to He pauses and then shrinks down to a normal standard human size, like 6'1", before he goes into the door.
All right. But you're still. Oh, sorry. You're still Fae form.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You step through the door, and yeah, we're in cozy cabin.
I would
just takes the one chair, puts it in a corner where she knows the light's not gonna hit when it comes up, and just sits, arms crossed, leg crossed, and just like bright red irises in like, oh, that's what you see in the dark, with like in a very angry look.
I feel like Beltane, being as old as you are, would probably recognize a lot of like the tapestries and like not even tapestries, but like the blankets and stuff like that, like some of the patterning. Like, this is definitely like royal blue, some lion prints, like
Some purple.
yeah, like this is definitely.
Are we getting the same vibes as somebody who like peaked in high school and like all of his these are all of his like high school merch,
Kind of.
Letterman jackets and trophies and
Not
except
really.
you know it's more medieval.
It's
themed.
definitely more medieval themed in there, but it's like if you ask him about it, it'll be like, oh yeah, no, I found that. Like he doesn't ever say like, oh yeah, that's totally mine. He's just like, no, it's a really comfy blanket. That's why I kept it around for so long.
When Beltane sees this, he kind of presses a hand to his mouth and goes, turns to Kane, or not Kane, Arthur. So the Magi are looking for you.
Oh no, I don't know what that means. Don't know what you mean. Never heard of them.
Please, I'm the third oldest bullshitter in the world.
All right, look. A lot of not really cool things happened back in the day. Some people started saying really weird things about me and my half-sister.
I know the stories.
Stories are not facts. They are not true. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. Got really mad. Threw that stupid sword back in the lake. Told the lady that she could have it back. I didn't fucking want it anymore. Everyone was being really rude about the whole thing. They fucked off.
My son is Merlin.
Yeah, well, he should have done a better job at making sure that everyone wasn't being so mean.
He reincarnated, and what life cycle span are you on?
He shrugs. Like, I don't know, I drank from that stupid fucking cup years ago. I've just been here ever since. Not here. I mean, I like this place. It's quiet. Nobody knows me. You just sort of exist. It's good fishing.
Of course, this is who we end up with.
You can reunite the Feywild, and you're here.
Yeah, that's not my fucking job, is it? That's for the person who has the goddamn sword. Like I said, I don't have that anymore. Threw it back into the lake. That's for the next
Arthur.
person.
Okay. No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's not my job. Again,
Not
everyone
your
was
job,
very
yes.
rude. Do you know what it's like having your best friend cheat on your wife with you? And then like all of your other closest friends, all of your other best mates end up either dying, betraying you, or leaving for some other fucking reason or another. And then after all of that, that's when they start saying all the weird shit about me and my sister.
Morgan Le Fay.
Yes.
You know there's a very angry Irish queen after you.
Yeah. And you want to know
All
what's
right,
not
okay,
here?
yeah.
Ireland. None of that's fucking here. The closest thing that I have, snow, fish, ice. None of that's Ireland. They'd have to travel quite a long ways or do some bullshit like what you're doing right now. Which, alright, enough about me. Why the fuck are you in my home? Both of you.
You invited us.
No,
invited me in.
I did invite the both of you because it's cold as shit out there. But that's besides the point. What are you doing in this village? Carrying this vampire lady into here, starting to eat on old people, looking like a lizard man.
Somebody thought it would be a great idea to pop off a volcano in Russia and go mad.
Dimitri's gonna lick Beltane's hand, and then he's gonna go and cozy up next to Lilith. He'll
She's
do that
gonna
thing,
like automatically like start petting Dimitri.
just like lean on her really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So if she moved, he would fall over.
Yeah, no, she's petting him automatically, but still shooting daggers at Beltane.
I went mad because my best friend shot me about 6 times. And I put a primordial in a volcano. I think people are allowed to go mad, Lilith.
Well, when you did that, my best friends decided to just fuck off, be really fucking rude to me after lying to me in hell.
Yeah, I did it to save you. I got your soul back.
You went against everything this relationship stands for. And you
I
expect me
swore
know?
to protect you. I kept my oath.
And now we're here stuck with fucking King Arthur.
Not a king. Not anymore. Haven't
You
had
are
that
the savior
title.
of the supernatural peoples, and here you are in a fish sack.
All right, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. I'm tired of it. Just want to sit. Just want to sit for a hot
And
minute.
apparently he has a pet were-dog.
Dimitri sneezes.
Dimitri's not my pet. He's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
He has a were-dog as a roommate. Oh my god, they were roommates. I can't stop myself.
That's
Sorry.
neither here nor there. How the fuck you ended up on this ass end of nowhere?
Oh yes, quit. You
I
just change
walked.
the subject and ignore what you did.
I accept what I did. It's just the savior of my entire race is here.
Again, that's you putting labels on me. It could be anybody. Anybody could be the savior of the Feywild.
No, it's
It could
quite
even be her.
specifically in
It
our
could
prophecy.
be Dimitri.
I'm not allowed in the Feywild, thank you very much.
Well, that would be a shitty thing to have as the savior, then, wouldn't it?
I don't have that sword. That's wherever the fuck you left it.
Fucking Dimitri's gonna go find that sword and save the Feywild. Work.
Lilith's just gonna like squish him and she's like, where do you come from?
You're gonna
Why
have
do
to
you-
wait
is she-
till
is she,
morning
like-
on that one.
She like leans in and just kind of, why do you smell so familiar?
He just kind of tips his head at you and
That's,
sneezes in your face.
you're gonna have to wait till morning for that one. He's pretty much no good for nighttime conversation, if you understand my meaning.
Dimitri yawns.
Lilith just pets him. Fine, I'll wait. How much sunlight gets in here?
Depends. I mean, there's that hole in the roof you probably got to worry about.
Lilith, you found that the corner you're in, I mean, after centuries of, dodging the sun, you're pretty sure you're safe where you're at.
I can only just sit here during the day.
Yeah, kind of. But
I'd get you a coat. I
A
could
coat.
get you a nice hat. I knew somebody who made some very nice hats, but he's probably going to be a
alive.
little under the weather tomorrow.
Why doesn't he have a stock of hats?
It's not. Do you understand how many people are in this village? There's maybe
No.
like 50 to 75 of us here, give or take. Do you think if somebody's just going to have a stockpile of hats for that few number of people? No, they're made to order.
I could have built a throne of bones from this city.
I'm glad
Go
you
ahead,
didn't.
do it. No one's stopping you.
You know, Lilith, I did try and protect you, and I am not regretful of that fact.
Look, I'm glad you didn't turn this village into a throne of bones, because then that would have been my fucking problem. But right now, the only problem that I have is that you two were talking rather loud. I had just found my comfy place, a nice warm spot when I was all curled up. Then I had to go out in the fucking snow.
How would it be your problem? You don't even have the sword.
'Cause someone's got to do something. every once in a while. If everyone starts dying around you, then if everyone in this village die, that means no more comfy village, that means no more cozy bed, and that means no more ice fishing and talking to the man who makes the hats.
Dimitri gives Arthur a look.
Among other things.
I won't bother you. You can go ahead and find your comfy spot. Again, I'll be in this corner.
And Dimitri, can we have a flashback of how Dimitri got to this village, and or betwixt the two of you, how you two met?
Dimitri grew up here. He was born here and he's gonna die here.
Does the village know
His what his condition is?
Yeah.
I think that at least the old man does, because he can see through the veil. Anybody else who can see through the veil also knows who he is. But anybody else kind of thinks that he's a quiet guy that, you know, they don't get to see very often. And also
Right.
sometimes there's a dog here.
Okay. So are you Arthur's dog now, or are you the village's dog?
I think he's the village's dog, but he stays in Arthur's house.
Okay.
Like,
Alright.
it's like, oh yeah, that dog's always been here.
Right. Okay. All right. And is your particular breed of individual, are they long lived, or are you
Nah.
normal?
He's-
Okay.
Yeah, mostly normal.
Okay.
He's like, I think his family is long gone. Like, there's nobody else left but him. He just kind of wandered into town one day, and it's all like, all right, I guess this dog lives here. And then, gosh, Arthur was probably here before him.
Okay.
I think Arthur's probably been here for like, you know, like a comfortable number of years, probably like at least like he hasn't been like, oh, I am the young man who has lived here for 80 years. Like, no, he's like, no, he just kind of goes from village to village. He likes this village. He's probably been here for like a solid 10.
Okay.
I like the idea that
Stays there
that-
just long enough until people start questioning why he hasn't aged, and as soon as they catch on, he's just like, oh, time to move.
all right, well, time to go. I like the idea that people with strange, more monster-inclined people, more magically inclined people, people who live on this side of the veil are kind of drawn to each other. And this is just a situation where, like, Arthur and Dimitri crossed paths one day, and so they've kind of just, he can't get rid of this dog. This dog just keeps following him around.
All right. And the old hat maker, through abuse of probably drugs and or alcohol, he hits the shrooms in the summer and then has vodka in the winter. And so he has grown to see through the veil.
This is Harker in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna say let's say there's probably 3 or 4 more people in the village who can see through the veil and know something's going on. I'm gonna say one of those people was the Orthodox priest who came to this town, and he has harped on you, Arthur, continually to be, basically, he's, I see the light of heaven. How can you not?
Just always like a shrug, like, I don't know. That's weird that you see that. Don't know why.
Okay.
Like just deny.
So for like 10 years, this old priest has admonished you, and after probably the first year or two, he just kind of learned to live with it or let you go.
Yeah. I think every once in a while, like at least like once a year from then on out, just like, there's an aura about you, and be like, that's what you said the last fucking 5 times. Still not doing it.
All right. Yeah, so the strange being drawn to the strange, or the veilless being drawn together. Have you guys ever had to defend the village before? Or is this place so far out that even the creatures of the night
I think that's
don't come here?
I think that's probably the reason why Arthur likes this village so much, is that it is like so far out. The only thing that you get is like a stray night creature starts like mucking things about, then like Arthur regrettably has to take care of it.
Goes out and fucking smites it immediately.
Yeah,
like,
just-
none of that shit.
Yeah, just like leave my town alone. This is a nice town.
I would like to posit that Arthur has such a valorous aura that he attracts evil.
Yep.
The smell of him is just so tempting to any creature of the night that like the reason he's out here is because it is the most secluded area that like it takes a really long time for anything to track him down.
Yeah, and so like in like real deep winter, the village is just cut off.
Yeah.
There's no getting here. It's one of those places. Okay. All right.
Which is to say that it's not that it never happens. It's almost guaranteed to happen. But like it takes he has more peace out here.
Yeah. Arthur, and if you want to wait to reveal anything, that's fine. But how do you take care of it?
For the most part, I think that like he does not have his sword. He does not have that sword specifically. But like he'll like use a hatchet or something. Like he does still have like he's still an expert fighter. He's had like way too many years under his belt of fighting monsters, fighting other knights, fighting what have you. So when it's like, okay, I gotta actually fucking fight this thing, he just does it. Like it is one of those like, I'm not going to deal with this. Like it's not a problem unless you make it a problem. And I think a lot of the time it's just one of like, if anything, like Wings was saying, where like something really big and fucking powerful has to like have the gumption to be like, well, I'm going to fight. Like I found King Arthur, I'm going to fight him. Or it's like Small Fry comes into town and he's like, Art, look, do you really want to make this mistake? You can leave and just like get the fuck out of here with your life intact, or I can just do the thing I don't want to do.
I kind of like the fact that the vision of that beratement going on, and then Dimitri like poking out from behind, bork.
Yeah.
I want to say that Dimitri actually has a good sense for whenever something like that's about to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like he'll like probably when Beltane and Lilith showed up, he woke up out of a dead sleep and was all like, "Oh."
Nice.
Yeah.
Super spidey sense.
Yeah, we both
Yeah.
kind of have that spidey sense thing going on.
Okay. All right.
'Cause-
Anything else before the morning? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say another reason for like fighting these creatures is like one of the powers that I have for Arthur is that he's immortal, but he's not invulnerable. Like he could still get hurt. He doesn't like fighting because like getting stabbed sucks. Like it blows. I drank from the Holy Grail. That was a bad choice in hindsight. It seemed really cool at the time, but like, man, regrets.
Regrets. Got it. Okay.
Hurts.
All right. If anything else, any more conflict between Lilith and Beltane, and what do you do to rest? Rest through the evening.
Beltane has patched the roof up with like some vines and put marigolds in it so that like when you come through the roof, so Lilith has more room to roam around. Put a blanket over whatever windows there may be, and then gives her his coat and says, "I am sorry. I'm a dick.
You're not wrong.
You can't lie entirely.
Oh, it seems that you can.
Humanity is a curse, and I hate it.
We all know that.
Good."
Dimitri has passed
Yeah.
out on
Yeah.
Lilith's foot.
Yeah.
He is like rolled over onto his back, his tongue's lolling out of his head.
Now and be awake in the morning.
Okay.
Just sit down at her feet next to Dimitri and just lay into him.
Oh, he's warm and very soft.
You're gonna wake up with a man next to you.
Oh no, you won't. Dimitri's an early riser.
All right.
Very confused face, like, what the fuck?
Let's totally jump to that scene then. We kind of fade out. We come across the cozy Beltane on the floor with Dimitri, and then we sweep up and see the fireplace and the crackling. Arthur out cold. Gold locks.
He snores so loud.
All right. We see snow falling, shaking through the timbers as he snores the roof off. And then we come back through as we swept up to the fireplace. We suddenly come back down across the fireplace, and the embers are just barely burning. And we sweep back across. Dimitri, it is the morn. What do we see?
So as everybody awakes the next morning, you get the strong smell of bacon and eggs and sausage and bean. You know what? Dimitri probably learned how to make a traditional English breakfast for Arthur, and he makes it. He makes it whenever there's a special day, and we have guests today, so it's a special day. So he's busy making breakfast, and he's got his back turned to everybody. But like from behind, he's very wide about the shoulders. He's got like fur inlaid in his parka, and it's the same kind of big white fur that the dog form has. And he's this soft kind of strong, like where he's very muscled underneath, but like, you know, kind of tubby around the midsection.
Yeah, he's a strong man.
He's got like the big weathered hands and such. Like he's soft but strong.
And how old is Dimitri?
He's pretty young, but he hasn't turned around yet, so nobody can really gauge that quite yet.
All right. Beltane, you awaken upon the floor, which is nothing for you, and you see a parka making breakfast, and you smell a English breakfast being made. Arthur is still rumbling.
Foot is out from underneath the covers. There's holes in his socks. Like, this guy has let himself go.
There's a kettle on the stove right now, and it starts whistling. And he has both a teapot ready to go, and I'll say that they get fancy with the coffee. There's a French press also ready to go that he's gonna once the kettle starts going off, he pours it into the teapot, pours it into the French press, sets them aside.
I'm gonna look it up now. I want to see when the French press was Knights in the Courtyard.
When was the French press invented?
Yes.
Google.com.
Yep. Not right now. Okay, Knights in the Courtyard.
Beltane will get up and look at this Parker man, kind of stand at the foot of the bed, staring at Arthur, arms across his chest, just kind of glowering. Like,
Going to creep him
and
out.
mildly annoyed at the sight in front of him.
We're going to creep him out.
Good.
Lilith, do your eyes just like open and you're completely awake and aware, or what is your norm when you're sleeping in the wild, as it were, like this?
Lilith?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of, she goes into a more of like is shut down when she's sleeping,
Mhm.
and then it's like instantly awake.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like the image of her eyes.
Yeah, it's just-
you just
Yeah.
and not in surprise or whatever, but in that grr. Why am I not in my comfy bed? You
Yeah,
know?
you see like the slitted pupils just kind of like opening, and then with Beltane's arrangements, is the house dark enough for her to walk in?
I would think, yeah, like it was a little bit of a fixer-upper, but it wasn't like a terrible home.
Mm-hmm.
It was comfy.
I feel like
Depending
she
on what
would-
time of year it is,
Yeah.
it might be dark
Yeah.
all around the
that's-
clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah.
So she'll stand up and look around.
Okay.
Surprisingly, it's not the worst place I've been in.
Mm,
And she'll
me
walk
too.
over. She'll ignore Beltane and Arthur and just walk over to the big parka and just look around.
The parka will load up some plates and get them ready like family style, where you can basically go up and like grab whatever you want. And he turns around to place them, and from the neck up he's still a dog.
Dear, I think you missed a spot.
Bork.
Is he always like this? Oh.
Beltane will look.
Are you always like this? She'll just say to Dimitri.
He just kind of looks at you, and like when he's in his humanoid form, he seems a lot more solemn and quiet. Like he's more energetic in his dog form, and he just kind of closes his eyes and nods.
You always have the head of a dog.
Nods again.
She's gonna look over. She's just gonna look over to Beltane.
Beltane will just crooked eyebrow.
If you are they able to look at him in the way that like the veil would perceive him, or are they always going to see like the veil unturned?
I think you can probably, let's not make this canon, but for this episode, let us see what they see.
See what the veil shows.
Yeah.
He's got basically the fur of his parka goes up to his nose, and he like a similarly kind of like chubby faced, soft looking man with kind of sad eyes, and I'll say that his hair is white, tufting out underneath the hat that he definitely got from the old man.
Now it's gonna be curious speaking with you.
Orcs.
And do the people beyond the veil, do they actually hear him speak, or is he mute in the village?
He's mute in the village.
Okay, all right.
I want to say that once a month, once every moon, when during a new moon during the day, he truly takes on his humanoid form. But and like he can speak normally and such, but otherwise this is his lot in life. He has a condition.
He has a condition. All right. Okay. All right, Arthur, your foot is starting to freeze. You're like, I have to pee. My foot's cold and out of the blankies.
I feel like it's one of those things where like Arthur starts like moving a little bit and his hand shoots out and just starts like tapping, like patting around the nightstand, looking for coffee or like tea or something.
Yeah, Dimitri will slide a cup of coffee into his hand.
Then just like grab onto it. Body like scrunches up, sits upright in the bed. All of the blankets are around him with a little mug and just
You get that
very
that-
angry Fae next to you, just glaring down at you.
Just unfazed.
the
His
cold
beard is
foot.
kind of like off to the side a little bit because like he slept on it, so it's like he's just disheveled. His hair's a mess. He probably hasn't showered, like he hasn't bathed or showered in a while.
When the cold foot comes in, does the other foot rub on it, or
Oh,
does
yeah.
the other foot move away from it? Like,
other
no,
foot
you're not
just-
making me cold.
No, other foot definitely like rubs against it, so you just hear like him like trying to get warm
Socks.
under his sheets.
All right. Is it cozy in here, or is it like see your breath cold?
If the fire was starting to die,
Yeah.
it's probably like starting to get back to that point of see your
Okay.
breath cold. So like
It's
Arthur,
cozy in the kitchen nook.
yeah, Arthur like
Mhm.
drains like half the cup of coffee or tea in one go, sets it down. Again, like completely ignoring Beltane, just gets up, shuffles over to where the fire was, grabs a log of wood, tosses it on, sits down, and just like it's just like going back to like get the fire back to a comfortable spot. He's used to being judged by the Fae. This doesn't bother him at all. Like this is fine. He can deal with that.
Watching you struggle with the fire, Beltane just flicks his finger and the fire bursts into a roaring flame.
As it does, like a little bit of his beard is singed and just like pats it out real quick. Like some of the parts of his eyebrows are like also a little singed.
Can we say though that it's like it makes him look better?
Yeah.
Like just the way his aura and stuff goes is like that blasted off the little bits that were like the one that was too long
Yeah.
and the trim. So
Like-
he's
He had to
You look-
spend so many years trimming his beard in uncut ways. And
To make himself look this disheveled.
to make
Oh,
himself
it's gone.
yeah, now like his beard's like a little bit shorter but like more trimmed and nice and just
yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
just, like, turns.
I mean, you are anointed by God, so I have to think that these things that happen are what others would assume are these boons and graces, but Arthur so doesn't want it. It's the whole vampire, cuts their hair all off because they're done with it, and they wake up in the morning and it's just gorgeous and perfect,
Yep.
the way it was before. Okay. All right.
I imagine like Beltane like still giving him that like glowering look, and then like after that happens, just you know how long it took me to look like this? It took
I'm
years.
glad I fixed it.
Then like just turns back and looks at you and like pretty boy Arthur.
His eyes are doing the sparkly thing.
Yeah.
A
just,
very mischievous grin across his face as he goes to get some food.
Yeah, Dimitri has already fixed you a plate. He knows what you like. And he's gonna hand it to you and then like ruffle your hair. And when he comes away, like it's all like perfectly coiffed. Like I just rolled out of bed this like
with the little Superman curl.
yeah, the
you
little
know,
curl.
And I think too we catch in the light like the I can't remember what they're called in the medieval Bibles and stuff. There's always that gold gilded like ring
yeah,
around
like
the head.
a halo.
We
Yeah.
just get that
the glow of the fire just
For just a
kinda, like,
brief moment.
just a second. It's like the golden light.
it's when he looks over his shoulder that like that very like yeah that just like no stop that.
But all right.
The Rembrandt lighting, got the
Uh-huh.
triangle on your face.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
"Aren't
beautiful.
you
Beautiful.
pretty?"
And he just sort of like gives you this like face.
That way.
Beltane will be like, I can't believe Jean's been looking for him all these years, and here he is.
John.
Come on, Jean, it's the same thing in French.
You really want to start this conversation right now after everything you just did?
I think this discussion is warranted because he prefers both.
Dimitri's gonna hand each of you a cup of tea and then just kind of sit down between you two, like giving you that sidelong kind of sad like dog glance, like, are you two gonna fight again?
Thank you, Dia. I can't drink this though. She'll hand the cup back to Dimitri.
Dimitri takes it and then very dourly begins to like lap at it. just
Laugh
like,
at it.
blep, 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 blep.
All right.
What you've done. She says to Beltane.
What I've done.
So do we I mean, obviously breakfast for those who eat occurs in the people sitting leaning on the table and stuff, because there's only one chair in the whole place, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Lilith's sitting on it.
Okay. All right. So
Arthur
Lilith's
is just
sitting-
kind of like, he's like sitting next to the fire, like very clearly, like, I'm so fucking cold.
Dimitri's fine with the floor. He's tall enough that he's basically on level with everyone else.
Okay, so we hear from outside at this point as the bickering continues betwixt Lilith or whilst the bickering was happening between Lilith and Beltane, Dimitri blip 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 off the tea, and Arthur eating.
There's like
We
some
hear-
beans going down his chin. Like,
Into his like beard.
yeah.
Not for later.
Yeah. Knights in the Courtyard. So what we hear is, let's see. Beltane, you would know this noise. It sounds like tractor engines or something. And there's multiple of this sound, this grinding metal noise. And I think as it comes across, as you guys were doing your back and forth, and it kind of, becomes the center of everyone's attention, and the Arthur looks with the beans in his beard. We can't see out because you've darkened the place for Lilith, but we as the audience pull back through the wall, and it's still Siberia daytime, so it's not bright, but we get that comic book white snow, and we pull back, and there's these tracked vehicles. Now, we as the audience know these are tanks. They're like military vehicles, like military tanks, and there's a couple of them with basically. I don't know if anyone's ever seen one, but the Germans had half tracks that had tracks with skis on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a vehicle kind of like that with these two tanks that are sitting in this village, and there are people peeking out like, what's going on? And that's where we'll go to break.
Yay! Excellent! I am having a blast playing this Disenfranchised King with all of these wonderful people. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon! And we're back! Hello, everybody. We have returned to the sound of half tanks rolling into our small Russian fishing village. GB, take us away. You're muted.
As we come back into the scene, we come back from commercial break, and we swoop back across the scene, and there are these. If anybody knows World War I type tanks, they're the big land ship type tanks that are just basically from Indiana Jones is where most people know them. They're just monster treads with a box kind of in between the treads. There's one of those, then there's the half-track truck thing I was talking about, and then there's another one of these big monster land ships. They have sponson guns on the sides and everything, and the whole village, nobody's stepping out. Everybody's like cowering in their hovels. The
That
hat
eat the soldiers.
the hat maker is still asleep, even though it's like 10 or 11 in the morning, and we see him snoring, and vodka tipped over next to him. What do you do?
Friends of yours.
Does Dimitri sense a magical danger approaching?
Is it an innate ability, or is it something that they roll for?
He should probably roll for it.
Okay, let's
Probably.
do that. And it's most likely on a moxie.
Okay. It's a 7.
All right. It's the magic 8-ball shake, and it's like uncertain.
All right. His ears go up, and he like kind of like he like turns in a direction like he can sense something's coming, and then those ears kind of like go back like he's uncertain. He's just like
And it's only evil, or is it supernatural type stuff?
It's mostly supernatural, but I want to say that I to differentiate it from Arthur's, like what is Arthur's like? It's like he can sense.
I'm pretty, because Arthur's ability I titled just Call to Adventure, because his whole shtick is that he refuses the call to adventure every chance that he fucking gets.
I called mine Nose for Trouble, so like it's more of a danger sense kind of thing.
Okay.
Where like he doesn't know what it is, but he knows something is coming.
Yeah. So then I would say yours is definitely your whiskers are twitching, Dimitri.
His nose is twitching. He kind of looks over at Arthur, like gives him like a pointed glare, like something's up.
And Arthur, what is your we'll get to the line, Lilith. I just gotta make a couple more connections.
I feel like Arthur's is like...
I thought I was muted. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I feel like Arthur's is probably like... There's like angelic chorus that he can start hearing, like godly voice, like, Arthur, you must save this thing. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to fucking do this again.
Awesome. So yes, you are hearing the call to adventure. Lilith, I love that line, friends of yours, and because you said it before we cut to break. So
I thought I was muted because sometimes I'll try to mute myself because sometimes I'll just say things.
It was a good line though.
Bork.
So yeah, friends of yours. Action.
Dimitri's gonna like put his dishes in the sink, and he's gonna take off his apron. He's gonna go step outside to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think Arthur will probably just like... I don't know if Arthur is actually familiar with like tanks and stuff. Like during the whole like World War I time that has happened, and like I think we hit World War II, right? We're in the no, okay, so yeah, during the whole World War I thing, I think he was just like out in Siberia, like away from any kind of contact, didn't hear about it, didn't want to hear about it, just left it alone. Like, again, he's been in this specific fishing village for like 10 years, so just like maybe a priest told him, but like he's never seen a tank before, and just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
so
follow behind them.
He
knows what these things are.
He's got his blankets up around him. He's got like his half cup, so like keeping cozy.
In the like if this is the wall for the door, she's in like this corner so the light doesn't hit her.
Yeah, perfect. Dimitri, you're the first one out, and as you take a few steps in the snow, you see the battleship doors on the side of these tanks. They open, and Russian soldiers just start pouring out. They've got the big, ear flap hats on, and They all have long guns, and they have like breastplates, which is weird. Not that Dimitri's probably ever seen a Russian soldier, but they for some reason have breastplates and sabers on their hip, and they start forming a perimeter around the vehicles. And that's when Beltane and Arthur, you guys step out.
Beltane looks like a native Russian at this point as he just steps up beside Arthur.
You affect the glamour of a okay. Okay. As we come across you guys looking at the column, we see the top hatch of the half track type vehicle open, and suddenly from inside it a hand rises with none other than Excalibur.
Oh,
It
fuck.
rises up from the vehicle, and then slowly as it comes down, a man rises, and he looks like a monk, like a monastic monk, except his robes are black. Those of you who would know, like the Franciscan orders, the more black robes than the brown, the traditional brown, and he has the hoods up. Can't really see his face yet, but we do hear, "It has to be somewhere close. Start looking. Search all of these hovels." And the men start just like totally like banging on doors, and any door that doesn't just open up, they kick in. And soldiers are headed your way towards your little band that is standing there. Lilith, it is the Russian winter, so you're probably not going to take any damage out in the sunlight. It's that kind of
Sun's
gray.
not really there anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sun doesn't exist. It's not
Like
real.
she's used to like walking out when it's like really like because they live in like I think we said the port town was like always really like overcast.
Foggy. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was fine. So she'll kind of step over, and it's quite funny because it's a very like lavishly dressed woman in a black, like very finely looking, lavishly dressed woman, like this little shack with these people.
Okay.
Going on.
And
Is that your sword?
as you step out and ask that, the soldiers kind of stop.
Oh no, I
And-
whispered that. I didn't just say that out loud.
No. But they hear you say that, but they see this beautiful woman step from the shack in like a dress, like
It's like a gown. Like a,
yeah, like a Hollywood movie star just
Yeah.
appeared, in this village. So they just out of like sheer shock kind of pull up with their rifles, and they're looking at the four of you with a quizzical gaze.
Dimitri's gonna pull off his parka and kind of throw it around Lilith's shoulders. And he's wearing a Fair Isle turtleneck sweater underneath.
Okay, all right.
She'll just give a little finger wave and say hello in Russian.
Okay. And they I think they don't say anything. They just kind of move like kind of around your group a bit. And the monk who is standing in the half track with the sword, he kind of
Rain like really went down.
it's awesome. He then the side door opens, and he steps out into the snow, and he's just a kind of a little guy. He's probably no more than like, he's not quite even as tall as Arthur. But he is only wearing a monk's robe, and he doesn't seem to be affected by the things that are happening. And he's stalking towards you guys. What do you do?
Can I help you with anything? Are you lost? Are you looking for directions? Volcano is that way.
Dimitri's
to the
nose is
volcano.
Dimitri's nose is kind of twitching as he's trying to figure out what exactly is going on here.
Lilith just like it takes the parka from him, says thank you, dear, and just kind of like cozies up into it and next to Dimitri.
And Lilith doesn't suffer from the cold, right? We've established that.
No.
Okay.
No, this is purely for looks.
Okay. And the man walks forward and he says, I believe that I have something that belongs to you. And he's literally holding Excalibur by the blade, which you think that his fingers should be sliced off and the blade should just stick in the ground.
I've never seen that before in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, GB's laughing.
Why does this belong to me? You think, does it have my name on it or something? My name is Peter. Never seen it.
Dimitri sniffs. Sniff, sniff.
Go ahead, make a moxie roll.
I feel like Lilith is also like you see like her nostrils flare a bit as she's like taking in the scent as well.
Sniff, sniff, sniff.
Yeah.
I get a 5. I'm getting nothing from this.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is that the sword itself is blocking anything else. You're basically it to your sense, and yours is sense is trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this is like a playground. There's other puppies here. There must be a bowl of kibble someplace. This is it's just the sword is emanating such a radiance that
He gives it a couple of sniffs and then he's fine. He's like, that's nothing to see here.
Lilith, give me unless you have something extra sensory for your sniffer, give me a fortitude roll.
That doesn't seem good.
Seven, so partial success.
All right. Yeah, the sword is definitely like holy power, but this guy is heart of darkness. It's being blocked by the sword at the moment, but yeah, this guy's not right. He's definitely, if he's human, he's definitely mage, maybe.
So is he like? Do I sense like evil or just like strong magic?
Evil. This dude is the dark power. Got some serious dark mojo going on.
We're just gonna lean into Arth and just say, Now I'm not one to put labels on people, but that guy seems pretty evil. I can smell it.
Said the vampire.
I have a soul.
Beltane will just whap Arthur's head. Be nice.
No.
Evil does not have to do with what I am.
So you have no claim over this sword.
I don't know why. Is that what? Look, you are. I
I
apologize.
claim it.
I claim it. Let me think. Yeah, Beltane, you could tell it's holy magic, like God type holy magic. You couldn't effectively wield this.
Like,
Oh, he
she
knows.
looks
He
at
just
Beltane.
doesn't want that man to have it.
Okay. All right. So he says something along the lines of, I hoped that you would say so. So you renounce all claim to this sword.
He just
Look
looks at it.
to Arthur. Don't.
Don't do it, Arthur.
Give it to him. He seems like he wants it. He points towards Beltane.
He says, it has brought me here to you. I need you to either take it back or renounce your claim to it.
Fine. I'll take the fucking sword.
When you say that, it just appears in your hand, and he like, you know, flexes his fingers like this, and
Well, that's neat tree.
and Lilith, the clouds part, and literally sun.
It's just shade that covers her skin.
Yeah, the like a literal beam of the sun comes through, you know, through the sky.
Arthur
You know?
She
just
pushes herself into Dimitri, and you just see black shadow just cover her skin.
Arthur sighs and just not this again.
He's completely oblivious to the miracle that's occurring around them, and more concerned with like Lilith, who is now suddenly like, "Oh no, Lilith, are you okay?" And so he's kind of like pulling the parka over her, like,
Yeah.
pretty woman in danger.
And Lilith, you know, if you hadn't retrieved your soul, you would probably at this point be burned to an utter crisp. This would have definitely been a I'm dead event.
Rendered
Yeah,
you
she
The-
looks
the-
at Beltane, and it's like, you're lucky I got my soul. Oh, we're lucky we got my soul back.
Yes.
And Beltane.
No, you don't get to say that.
and as you quip that towards Beltane, you feel your feet sliding in the snow. You're being pushed out of this beam.
He just allows it and just like, you know what? I hope you get it back as he's sliding backwards. Why are you pushing me? I'll shut up at this guy. Why are you pushing me out? You know I'm sworn to King Arthur. He gets shoved back.
continues sliding, and Dimitri just kind of looks back at him concerned, like, "Where are you going?"
Just walk forward.
And what's interesting is you don't. These Russian soldiers that have kind of formed a perimeter around you, they don't seem freaked out by the light and the sliding archway.
Angrily shouting at the sky.
Yeah, they don't seem freaked out by that. Yeah, I think that's the only detail you need to know there. And the monk. The monk clasps his hands and bows, and he says, "Well, your destiny will now not return. What's the word I'm looking for? Recommence." And he starts to bow and back away.
Why? Come back here, you bitch. Oh, sorry about you.
I mean, bark.
I mean, bork. Oh, dude, that's beautiful. Okay, so obviously Dimitri doesn't say that. Okay, yeah, no, he clasps his hands and
No, sir, you're not.
Thanks,
why-
you can jog. Get on with it.
No, you
Still
see,
gone.
why? I want to know why he's evil.
Yeah.
and
Why
and
would-
you're saying this like
Yeah,
wait,
I'm pointing
yeah.
at him straight up. I don't understand why he was able to carry that sword.
It's not a difficult. It's a sword. It's not a difficult thing to carry.
Beltane from the perimeter. It's a divine sword, you twit.
And him and the soldiers are backing up towards the
No, you
vehicle.
sir, you come back right here.
Are you going to attempt to use your charms to make him stop?
No, she's just yelling.
She's just yelling.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop. He's walking back towards the half track.
Look to
Well, that's not my problem. He just turns.
Arthur just like looks at the sword, like just like lazily tosses it towards the open door of his shack.
Dimitri chases it.
All right. All right. Dimitri.
Was waiting for that. Fetch.
Stretch. All right, Dimitri, give me an agility roll.
Oh, okay. I'm slightly better at these, actually.
You're literally aging Beltane by 5 years as you do this.
Oh, do you feel frustrated, dear?
What's
Trade.
5 years to a fae? Okay, that's a 10 plus. I got an 11.
Bork. You snatch the sword. Do you snatch it in your mouth or with your hand?
I feel like his instinct is his mouth.
Okay, so yeah, you've got the sword in the pommel of your mouth, and technically, Dimitri is not an evil creature by any.
The opposite.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying the werewolf lineage, where they split is they're not necessarily evil by nature. They're evil by rote, by nurture, and so yeah. So no, you've got the sword, and you caught it in your mouth, and now you're standing there with the sword in your maw.
Carrie, I'll take it back to Arthur.
And the soldiers are all climbing into the tanks, and this individual nods, and you see he's basically got like, dark circles under his eyes and such, and he kind of gives you a last bow and a wave, and he steps into the half track, and the engines that were idling start to rev up.
I feel like he bows towards Arthur, and Arthur just like gives him the 2 fingers up towards him, just like fuck off. Like,
okay. Yeah, and the tanks start to back away.
I didn't even get to eat one. Lilith, unless she walks in with her hands up.
Beltane falls. I can't believe my entire people are sworn to this twit. As he goes in.
Well, at least you're tied to something.
I'm tied to several things.
Dimitri actually
Not
has
me.
Dimitri actually has the big fluffy tail, and it's wagging as he brings it back to Arthur, and everybody just keeps walking past him and ignoring him, and that tail kind of slows down. He's just kind of confused, and then he just kind of spits the sword back out. It's got a little bit of saliva on the handle.
Arthur
Lilith
just
kind of
like
sighs and says, "Come on, Dimitri." That pats her leg.
Yeah, Arthur just like has like he's holding it by the cross guard, so like just watching slobber go down the side of Excalibur. Just thank you, Dimitri. That was very helpful.
Pats you on the head, ruffles hair.
Thank
Still
you.
coiffed.
Yeah, it fixes itself again.
Anybody know
Wait,
that
so-
guy? You look kind of weird.
He was evil.
If he was evil, how come when the big beam fell on me, he wasn't also pushed back? And people who were you two. So that leads me to believe that there is something
I
rotten
wasn't
in the
pushed
state
back,
of
first
Denmark.
all.
What?
What?
This is Denmark, right?
No, this is
Oh
We're in
shit!
Russia.
No, I went a little farther east. I thought.
We're near
Oh,
a
well.
volcano. Don't go to the volcano. There's a primordial beating in it.
It's not gonna be my fucking problem later.
No, maybe.
Maybe if
possibly.
it erupts.
No, maybe, possibly. All right.
Be careful. One look at it and you'll be taken over by pure chaos and want to kill everything.
Oh
confused head tilt
no.
from Dimitri.
Does Dimitri have blue eyes?
I want to say that they're like pure black,
Hmm.
like
It's
the
big
just
dog
kind of
eye.
like, yeah, like the button eyes in like the snow dog kind of face. I'll send you a picture of a Samoyed. They just have the saddest, like floofiest faces.
Oh, I know. I know. I want one.
Beltane goes into a rant about how his people are tied to Arthur, how the entire supernatural peoples are tied to Arthur, and he can't believe everything that's going on. He's just ranting about this.
Arthur just looks over at Dimitri and like makes like the talking motion with his hand. Just this guy, I swear, always just blah blah blah. Feywild, this fey creatures that I don't know what the deal is.
Lilith's just kind of like, oh yes, keep talking about him and know the problems that we have because that we never talk everything out. But no, everything's fine, really.
Looking back and forth between the two of you. He doesn't understand English.
Arthur, give me a moxie roll.
Oh Christ! All right, let's see where this goes. That's a 10.
All right.
That's a success.
I'm gonna say this is how it appears in your head. You suddenly realize, oh fuck, I'm the King of England.
That's why I came all the way out here, so I wouldn't be fucking king. I want to be king.
Well, if you don't go back, are you really the King of England?
I mean, if you want to go challenge King Edward, by all means, but don't.
Is he a good sword fighter?
I don't actually know.
Well, it
I've
wouldn't
been
be very
banished from the British
challenging.
Isles.
Now
You've been banished from the British Isles. Why didn't you tell me that?
That's where my home is. I'm a Welsh fairy.
Yes, but you said the Feywild, not the British Isles.
By my decree, you can go back into England or whatever.
There you go. See, you're not banished.
There, you're
He's not
absolved.
king.
I am
Edward
king.
is.
He just said
Look
he
at
was
this
king.
sword.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
that
you
make me
have to do
king?
the-
Yeah, get on one knee. I'll like tap it on your shoulders.
No, I'm not becoming your Green Knight. I refuse being your Green Knight again.
Arthur, you
Oh, that was you. Thought you looked familiar. Whoops.
you do realize that you have to return to England, but you have the innate knowledge that yes, that you are the destined King of England.
Bollocks.
Well, I'm going to try and find a way back home. I might spend some time in France back with our son, John, because I think maybe we might need some time away.
John has a service and a duty to the king.
No, it doesn't. He's fine.
He
Well,
is,
if he's anything like his father, he's not taking that service and duty seriously now, is he?
John doesn't know he's here.
I feel like I've walked into something that I probably shouldn't have. Now, your discretions. No, I don't feel like I'm very fine at the moment. I just had a man in a very dark cloak roll up with those weird machine things and me a sword. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, not that impressive. And him.
Yeah.
You ever seen an elephant? Now, those are impressive. Those beasts are
Yes.
massive. Huge.
Oh my god. You're giving me a hernia.
What's that?
Arthur,
Doesn't
You-
feel good now, does it, Beltane?
Arthur, you rolled a 10 on that Moxie roll.
I did,
right?
yeah.
All right. I'm going to say that as this is going on and you kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. The man handed me a sword, blah, blah, blah. You get a, one of those, we zip into your head and there's like, the twisting swirls of bright light and, basically one of those type it's a flashing pictures. It's a vision that is in your head, and it is literally you're seeing combinations of images that it's that man in the dark robe gives you the sword. Something happens. England changes. A young boy, or no, he wouldn't be a young boy. A young man. You see him drawing as a child. You see him painting as a student. You see this young man being a soldier in the war that just happened. You see
Grooming
these
his pencil mustache.
you see these tank things, like, you know, explosions, and you see the war that you skipped out on, and you see the absolute magnitude and horror of that war comes to you. You see that you returning to England unites the people, and you stop this horrible man who has, you know, created this army, these machines, these flying things that drop bombs and destroy cities, these spears that launch from the ground and fly through the sky and destroy cities in England. You see all of this happening. You see this horrible, these soldiers with black and skulls and you know, flamethrowers. You see gouts of dragon flame, men wielding dragon fire, and you see that now that you have the sword, England will unite and crush this individual. This great calamity that is going to occur will be stopped by you going back to England. Now, as the image begins to fade, you see, because of that happening, you see that the men from this individual, this pencil mustached little,
This mustachioed villain, this
This
unnamed mustachioed
villain, you see that the work you see his men, his scientists digging up the treasures of God. You see them collecting these bits and bobs from all over the old holy sites. And you see that you uniting England stops him from getting these pieces parts. And just as you think, okay, maybe I gotta go back to England, you then see the man who just left getting those parts that the mustachioed man doesn't get.
And Arthur like pauses, like fingers on the bridge of his nose. Hasn't had one of these visions in a while.
Dimitri's giving you an old wise stare.
With that floofy face that came across.
Yeah.
With that floofy face, the sleepy eyes, just kind of,
Yeah, he looks and just, oh, don't start with me. No. He looks back. Are the tanks like still within like reasonable distance?
You can hear them, but you can't see them anymore. You would have to do something like right now if you were gonna do it.
He just like pauses and sighs. All right, Beltane, my green knight.
Pauses mid rap and goes, no.
I would like I cannot give you full amnesty from the Isle of England once again without sending you on a kingly quest. Do you accept this quest in return for full amnesty for crimes that you may or may not have committed that I may or may not care if you actually committed or not? But it is.
Oh no, I committed them.
I did not hear that. Do you accept this knightly quest? Will you become my knight in a time of need? Because that asshole back there he's going to cause some serious problems for a lot of people.
You did.
Old wise stare from Dimitri towards Beltane.
Fine.
Can you help get us there in a reasonable amount of time?
You just killed the man right now.
He's kind of far away, isn't he? It's not like I can just like summon lightning to my hand and then throw it at him. That'd be useful.
Have you tried?
No, I haven't tried. I don't want to try. I don't want that on me.
I really can't believe you're the savior of...
I want to
Alright.
fish. I want to just sit and relax. I don't want any of this shit on me. But no, a lady in a lake handed me a sword when I was in my early 20s and said, "You're going to be the savior of England." And me trying to impress another girl that I was seeing at the time was like, "Yeah, fuck it, sure." And now look where I am.
That's no way to pick
Dimitri
a political
gives-
ruler.
Dimitri gives Arthur a soft boof and then looks off in the direction that the tanks went and then looks back at him and just kind of...
We could kill him
So-
right now.
Give me a moment. Do you have twigs?
Beltane here knows how to teleport. Did you know
I
that?
do. I'm very powerful when I want to be. I just like being lazy a lot of the time. Because,
Oh, it's fine when you do it, but if I want to
don't
do
have a
it,
destiny.
we all have a destiny. That's what the big man upstairs always tells me.
I was a murder hobo King Faye. I don't have a destiny. Let's go. Where's your fireplace?
It's inside. Just like trudges over. He's still like, all right, fuck it. Yeah, just don off all of my cheesy garb, I guess. Puts on like a really old tabard, points to the fireplace. Fucking
Right.
guess I'm king now. King
All
again.
hail King Arthur. Yay.
Do you want me to stop the tanks or not?
Yes, I want you to stop the fucking tanks. It's going to be a mustachioed man some years from now who's going to try and find the artifacts of Christ, in which case, I'll put a stop to him then, but we need to put a stop to this guy now, so that way he doesn't find the ones that the old mustache doesn't find.
All right, all right. Put your hands on my shoulder as he kneels down in front of the fire. It's gonna be quick, gonna be flashy. It's gonna stop a bunch of tanks.
Give me
Right.
a second. One second.
All right.
I told you, he never listens to me.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Oh,
As everyone's bickering, Dimitri's gonna put his hands out on everyone's shoulders, and it's the most calming hand you've ever, like the most calming presence you've ever felt.
just stop that. Just Arthur's used to this. He knows your tricks. No.
Would
Bad.
I be able to, with my command over shadows, stretch out the shadows through the snow and like have them kind of like spike up underneath the tank so it kind of like stops them?
It balances them. They are out of sight. You could try it.
I could go out in a flock of bats and get closer.
All right. So, yeah. So whilst they're performing the ritual
Yeah.
thing in the thing,
It's like,
you're gonna.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. You flock of bats out. Yeah. Let's go with that scene. This flock of bats comes whipping across the snowscape and whatnot. And then you're gonna like reform on a hill nearby.
Yeah, hit nearby and just like have like the the shadow come in as tendrils and then just kind of like shoot up underneath, so it kind of like fucks with whatever's underneath and almost like pins them in place.
Yeah. Like lifts the tank up to get the
Yeah.
treads so they can't get purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make, I believe we said it was Moxie or Charm.
It's
You're charming the shadows. You're charming the shadows. Okay.
That is a 12.
All right. Yeah, the tanks lift up and they are balanced and the treads don't work. The half track thing kind of tries to get around them, but it can't. And so it's kind of wedged now between the two tanks that are held. You realize you're gonna have to keep this up until those guys get here. So you're like, holding the grapefruits, wizard style. All right, what's happening at the hut?
Just kind of say, place your hands on me. I stick my hands in the fire and say something along the lines of, "Well, God of Fire, here's your servants at your whim. Give me the strength of the earth." And he kind of starts to burst into flame, and it crawls over him, crawls over Arthur and Dimitri, and he reappears in front of the line of tanks, and there's just like a ring of fire around the tanks. And when he steps out, he kind of smooths his shirt that's now reminiscent of Arthur, and he pulls down a helmet. Fucking hated this job.
Took you long
Worst
enough.
job.
You said that Lilith had lifted one of the tanks off its treads.
Yeah, the two tanks are lifted off its treads so they can't move.
All right. I'm going to say that Dimitri sprints forward and he's going to give one of these tanks a mighty shove and try and knock it over on its side or on its back.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't have its back. Tip it upside down. That's a better way of saying it.
Sure.
Side, cow tipping.
Tank tipping.
Tank tipping. You know.
All right, give me the brawn.
The
You
way
have
that-
you have super strength, right?
Yeah, of course. He's a werewolf, right?
I'm just saying. I just wanted to make sure that was one of your.
I feel like it's not necessarily something he could do on his own, but since it's already been tipped up a little bit,
Right.
he's just kind of like it's off balance, so he's taking advantage of that.
Perfect.
4 + 2 is going to be a 6. I think that's a failure.
That is a fail. All right, Dimitri, you hit the tank. It knocks it askew the shadows. It catches purchase. It starts to turn, and the sponson guns swing towards Lilith, and they fire. Lilith, give me an agility.
Only has 4 hit points, just letting y'all know.
Mhm.
And I rolled a 7, which is only a partial success.
All right. You I mean, you've gotten the news before, and you've probably during the Napoleonic Wars probably heard and saw cannons. These are cannons, and they're close, and they've fired at you, and they explode the ground around you, and you are flung through the air, and you find yourself because you rolled a 6. You find yourself impaled on a tree with a piece of wood sticking through you. Like, it almost got my heart.
What damage does she take?
We're gonna say that it's more of a situational damage than anything else. It literally,
It's like her heart's here. It's like right
Yeah.
under. And
Yeah.
she's just like,
yeah, and so it's more, like I said, it's more cosmetic than anything else. You're just stuck on you know how like in movies people will push a vampire down on something and then they'll just pull their body through it. It's that sort of thing. It's just that you're hung in this tree by this. And then
holding on to it. She's like, Beltane!
Yeah. And the scene flashes back to those standing in front. Dimitri, you realize like, oop.
Yeah. Ears go down like,
Arthur, Beltane? Arthur, you haven't done anything
Yeah.
yet. So.
That's the point. He didn't want to. I think like Arthur, if anything, he probably like takes a deep sigh, and then takes Excalibur and like brings it up to his chest and closes his eyes, and like you hear him start muttering something, and as he does, that corona like effect encompasses the back of his head. The clouds part ever so gently, and the sword begins to glow with this vibrant energy. And then he just like brings it up and then just chops forward as this beam of light kind of slices forward. He wants to see if he can use Excalibur to like cut a tank in half.
Yeah.
Like
Perfect.
using the power of God, like, oh, fuck this cannon thing. Like, another reason why, like, he didn't want Excalibur. Fights got real boring as soon as you were like, and smited. Like,
Yeah. Again, Excalibur being such that it is Excalibur, it cuts right into this vehicle. The tread goes and springs apart, and you cut through this armor like
Yeah.
like you're cutting
hot
a
knife through butter.
Yeah, you're definitely you're butchering hogs. This is nothing. And this slice comes through. The tank is now kind of spinning in a circle on the one other tread until the driver can get it back under control and to a stop. There's this wound in the side of the vehicle. Beltane.
He just watches Arthur and is like, all right, I was wrong.
Arthur doesn't look like he's like, when he did it, it's not like one of those, I did it, yeah. He's more just like,
I need to get to Lilith. I'll leave a friend with you. How's
That's
that?
why I cut off the top part of the tank. Is just eat everybody on the inside. I don't fucking care. Go for it. It's feast day.
I don't need people.
No, not you. Her. She looks like she's in pretty bad shape. So just look, snackies.
Like, just... He places his hand on the ground, says something in Welsh, and a woman kind of appears beside him. They exchange something, and two hounds appear beside her. Deirdre, my sister, Wild Hunt, whatever. She's helping you. Kind of shoves her forward.
Beltane, let's make a roll out of this because this is some pretty heavy magic.
Mm-hmm. What would you like?
Moxie. Or charm. I can see you magicking, using your personality to draw forth your sister. So either one, that's fine.
So 9, 10, 11.
All right. Your sister appears. Her hounds are there. They start to swarm over the first tank. And then I take it you're bamfing
Go
over.
to Lilith to pull her towards the tank. So there's some soldiers in the first one. I'm Vera. Oh, you get to meet Vera. You get to meet Vera. Get to meet Vera.
Beltane, there's a hole in my chest.
Yes, but you're a vampire. You can eat your way and make it stitch together. I know it's close to your heart, but you're not dead. You didn't die.
Oh, we're going through this now. All right.
Just kiss her. I love you, my darling, but now's not the time. We can fight about it later. I promise.
Where are the soldiers?
Just point to the tank that's open. He did a very good job.
She just reaches in, drags one out.
All right, Dimitri, what are you doing? Well, it's the Wild Hunt is swarming through the tank and starting to fight with them. The you notice that the soldiers, as the Wild Hunt is attacking them, their scarves and their big hats fall away, and they have on like male coifs, and they had the breastplates, and the sabers come out, and they're kind of actually able to hold their own a bit against the Wild Hunt. it's the Wild Hunt's going to win against these soldiers, but these are not normal Russian soldiers. There's something more going on.
I think he's gonna just try and help in any way he can. He's gonna give up on trying to knock over this tank, and he's just gonna jump up on top of it and start pulling guys out.
Okay. Give me a brawn roll. Unless you have some kind of attack or something you would like to use.
Well, I haven't attached any mechanical abilities to any of these.
Okay. All right.
But I do have
because you know how dogs kind of just roll over you and like kill you basically, and you're like on the floor and you're like, this is how I die.
Well, I have one called "What's That in Your Mouth?"
Okay.
And I want to say that like when he latches his jaws onto something, it's very difficult to get those things out of his mouth. So like maybe he has like advantage on a grapple or something.
Okay.
But he's gonna.
I was going to say it could also be kind of like a witch bolt in 5e where like you make the initial attack and then as long as you focus on just maintaining that attack, if it's a bite, like you don't have to roll for it. You just have minimalized damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it down.
He's gonna pull something out, pull someone out, and just like have them in his teeth and just
Okay.
shaking
shake him.
Yep.
Huh. All right.
And I rolled a 10 for that brawn.
Yeah. So you are helping the Wild Hunt. You're part of the pack at this moment, and you're shaking one of these guys. Lilith, you I'm going to say Beltane bamps you across the circle of fire.
She ain't looking that great, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, she's looking great, but she's looking bloody.
Talk about she's always fabulous.
That's right. And so let's say Beltane bamps you across. Arthur, as you're coming up to the tank, you notice that hold on, something stuck. You notice that well, let's see. I guess you've never seen that before. So yeah, what you see is you see tendrils of darkness coming from the half track. Basically, these serpentine shadows are starting to pour from the half track vehicle, and the other tank is it slides over the ring of fire as it's trying to climb the hill and turn around so it can get its guns to point at the first tank and basically the party. What do you do?
So it is these tendrils of darkness are coming out of the tank that's currently going over the ring of fire?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. The half track in the middle that was stuck between the two tanks, it couldn't get up the banks of the hills to get around it. So now you just see these, like I said, these snaking tendrils of shadow pouring out of the half track, and they seem to be coalescing into something. And then you see the tank is rolling over the ring of fire because it's a big metal tank, and it climbs the hill, and it's starting to turn so it can get its sponson guns to fire upon your friends.
I think that Arthur sees tendrils of shadow, sees other tank, sees tendrils of shadow. Like, he has a sword of light and like goodness, and then there's the thing that is clearly the bad. So he's like, all right, this might as well be me. And he goes up and just like sword up and calls for it to halt, and then says, your king demands it.
Okay. So you are basically, I'm giving you the choice. Go after the tendrils or go after the tank.
He's gonna go up to the tendrils. Like, that's the one that he's deciding, because like tendrils seem like it's one of those like, oh, this is a problem only I can solve. Like, he's so used to that being the case with all of his other knights.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't understand that a tank is gonna go kaboom at him.
Well, go kaboom at your friends.
Yes.
So, okay, good. All right. What do? You approach these tendrils of darkness that are coalescing.
Yeah, he'll call out for them to cut it out. That seems to have worked well for him in the past. And he will just be ready that if they choose not to, same thing, just like holy slash, we're just gonna like bring it down from the bottom, uppercut, cut this fucking tank in it, or cut the half track in half.
All right. They continue to coalesce, so I'm gonna say give it a brawn.
Okay. My name is Arthur. Whose castle is this? That's an 11 for brawn.
Awesome. Again, Excalibur, half track, even thinner armor than the tank. You start to slice it. You notice the darkness, slices away like linen flapping in the wind, kind of thing. The man rises up as you slice these. The shadows kind of retract, and you see the man rising up on the tendrils of shadow, and the flapping part starts to knit itself back together, and you notice that dark circles under his eyes in his black monk robes. He completely looks at you and goes and sighs, and you totally feel the same weight that you just get that complete don't you know you are going to be the savior, save the world from the little German man.
So why don't you just give up now and we'll all be at ease? You know what's going to happen if you don't. I'm going to take this sword, I'm going to say something noble, I'll smite you down, and then you will just become a speck of dust in the annals of history. I will live on as a legend. That's the way stories like this go.
And your whole speech, he has basically your look like, okay, yeah, and you see that same resolve, that same look of, yeah, I can't die, and he goes, they poisoned me, they beat me, they rolled me in rug, threw me in river. The darkness is beyond your God. It's older than your God.
That sounds rough, buddy.
And he nods like in total agreement with you. And
if things were different, I think we might have gotten drinks at some point, but sorry, you're kind of a tosser.
And he just kind of shrugs like, you do what you got to do. He doesn't say it, but you can see the resolve in his face. Like,
yep, just Excalibur up. All right.
We hold there.
Oh, he's gonna be like charging his attack for a hot minute, anyways. But just one of those like both of them just like. You know what's gonna happen. Yeah, this sucks. Yeah. Sorry.
Like, the Lancelot scene from Monty Python.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. Back to Lilith. What do you do?
Do I see this tank?
Oh, the other tank that has moved up the hill? Yeah, you do. There's all this nice, yummy blood here. and then there's that tank up the hill.
Come on.
Beltane will interject. You keep feeding. I got this.
But the tank,
I got
she
the
just points
tank.
at the hole in her chest.
You feed. I got the tank.
Fine. If I die, it's your fault. And she just
Naturally.
takes one of these guys that Dimitri kind of tossed away, takes it, pulls back the coif, and just
Awesome. Go ahead. It's like a D6 that you do, right?
yeah.
When you're trying to
It's a-
kill.
Yeah, it's a D4, but I think can we change it to a D6?
I think it's a D4 if you don't want to kill them, and I think it was a D6
Oh.
if you're just gonna outright drain them.
Yeah, she needs it, bro.
Okay.
5. I think
Nice.
yeah, so you regain 5 more points. That's just 9 hit points.
Yeah. Nice.
She's
All
getting
right.
up there.
And so Dimitri, what you doing?
He was just kind of yanking guys out of the tank, shaking them up, tossing them to Lilith and stuff. And I think he turns around, like his ears perk up, as he
Mhm.
senses danger. He turns around, he sees that Arthur's squaring off with that monk over there.
Mhm.
And he is going to go and see what he can do to help with that.
I am going to say you realize that this other tank is going to go kaboom on your friends like the first one did. Basically, Lilith's going to be shot by another tank.
I
Gotcha.
can't survive one more shot.
Okay, so I have this loyal to a fault trait.
Perfect. So you see Beltane heading for the tank, and your instinct is, got it. I'll help Arthur. That's great. That I just wanted to make that clear. So okay. So what are you going to do to help against the rising darkness before you and Arthur's charge?
Well, let me put it this way. Which one seems to be the more immediate danger? Who is in the most danger at this moment?
It would be the Fae and Lilith.
Okay. Dimitri's gonna go and push Lilith out of the way of the cannon and tank it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Dimitri's gonna get her and toss her and the person she's eating out of the tank.
Basically, yeah. Like whoever the tank is aimed at, he's gonna go push them out of the way.
Okay.
Lilith's probably on. She's like, I gotta drag this body because I know I gotta get out of the way, but I'm gonna die.
She's caught up in the bloodlust, like she's
Yeah.
she's low on health, so she needs this blood, but she's looking up and she's all like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Beltane, what were you gonna do?
He goes towards the tank. And I'm okay what that happens next, just so you know, GB.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
And he gets down on the ground and pushes his hands into the dirt and snow. And he calls upon the Keliak, Odin, Mabe, and another god that's a bit ancient.
Okay.
And he says, this pitiful servant offers his life. And a giant oak tree bursts in front of the tank to block the shot. But he's gone.
Awesome. So Beltane reaches into the ground, makes this pledge, and we see and add to this or take away from it. We see that it's like a trembling, and you start to fade and become part of the ground. And your energy is now pushed into the ground, and this oak begins to spring up and tip and kind of against the front of the tank and push it over, and it starts to kind of even lift and become part of the tank, kind of crushing it.
Yeah.
Just entwining it and crushing it as it as literally the world tree avatar.
Full world tree, yeah.
Avatar is grown here. Yeah, and it is crushed, and Beltane, like I said, the energy, and then suddenly the physical form is drawn to the earth and vanishes. Yeah, amazing. Okay. And as we pull from that, Arthur
is going to then like raise sword up, holy slash, like,
all right.
yep, he is prepped for this. Like, there's shit going on behind him. He's used to being in a battlefield. Like, he's not really paying attention to it because he assumes other people have that taken care of.
That's their knight's quest.
Yeah, that's their holy quest. I'm on my own right now.
Awesome.
And yeah, he's going to try and bring down the fury of the heavens upon this here monk with his shadowy tendrils.
Perfect. Give me a brawn.
Okay. Yeah. That is a 9, but we can use a luck to add a point, right? Or was it 2 luck?
Yes. No, it's one. It's I think it's 1 for 1. If you want to re-roll, it's 3.
Yeah, I'll use 1 luck point to make it a 10.
Perfect. Okay. It's a 10. You see the ribbon of light, the first lightsaber, effectively. The sun sword, Thundar the Barbarian is jealous. It comes through, and he's got like a half smile, like he makes that connection, like I really hope this fucking works. And at the same time, it's a little quirk in his smile that kind of says, I'm sure I'll see you again. And the darkness is split in a shower of angelic spark and basically, yeah, star sparkler type effect. As you sling through the shadow, and the shadow comes ribbony apart, and the half track itself is sparked and cut in twain, as it were. And he is no more.
Yeah, I think Arthur kind of does like a little bit of a flourish if there are any like remaining light energies off, flicks it off. And then just like says as he turns around, I think that went rather well. And like looks behind, and there's like a giant tree with a tank swallowed in it. Lilith has a hole inside of her. Dimitri has blood on his maw from where he's been biting people.
You would actually see her like just like complete like blood like over her mouth. But she's just looking at the oak tree with wide eyes, and it's like full on like Studio Ghibli blood tears running down her face.
Dimitri's got his big arms around her, and he's just kind of like looking around and sniffing, like where was the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Kaboom! Nice. Yeah. And Beltane is gone. So we have 6 minutes left. We are not going to pick up here next time. So do we want to epilogue out so that we can wrap up kind of with Arthur and Dimitri?
I feel like this is a good place to leave off. In the past, we have talked during Nights in the Courtyard about what happens to these characters. Okay. So I think this is a good cliffhanger. It's all like we just pull out, and like there's those spreading branches of the oak.
Tears, blood tears from Lilith. The oak in full bloom here in the middle of winter.
Steven's got his hand raised.
No, yes. I was saying like if we did epilogue, it would just be like Arthur and Lilith having to walk throughout all of Russia until they can get back to at least England.
All right. Well, we'll read. I love
That'll
it.
be a different time.
Yep. Let's go ahead and pick up there. We may add that as a side scene next time around or something,
Yeah.
because we do have plans for next time.
I also like ending it with the last line of just Arthur. I think that went rather well.
Well, turn around, a blazing tank, and
Everything's on
sparks.
fire.
Yeah, circle of fire. Lilith in tears. Yeah, gorgeous. Let's end it there. Roll credits. Screen goes black. Woo!
Fun yet fresh current pop song rendition playing over the credits. But no, I had a great time. Thank you, GB, for running this wonderful game. But I always have a blast whenever you're on the channel. So, hey, GB, where can we find you? What do you do?
Graybeard or Graybeard7. Find my Twitter, has my schedule pinned to it. Right now, I am doing this once a month. I do Thursday nights here to do Tyrant Security at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, basically tomorrow. Friday nights, I'm over on G Game Nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for we're doing Cypher System now, but it's called Neon Souls is the game, and we're having sci-fi goodness on a space station orbiting the moon. It's very heavy metal now. It's pretty cool. And then on Sunday, you can find me here where I get to play with all my toys, and we have a good time. Currently, we're playing a game called Griftlands. If you like the Sam Sykes series, Griftlands is like that world in a sci-fi setting. The main character's name is Sal.
Oh,
and
Seven Blades in Black style.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and Sal, and the main character is Sal, but we just got Sal killed, so now we're on to a new chapter, and it's a good time. That's 10-ish on Sunday mornings Eastern Standard. That's it for me, GB.
I think it's me. Hi guys, I'm Satan, and I have real sad eyes right now. But other than here, like, I'm here now, like, for 3 games, even though one is once a month. But I'm here playing all sorts of games, Tyrant Security, Rhyme of the Frost Maiden, this game, and I'm over at my channel doing art stuff. It's Endless Vamp. Same name on Twitter, but with an extra P, where I do art and share my thoughts or just retweet silly things. If you follow me, you'll know when I have games and where I have games. It's a long list. I'm tired and I don't want to repeat it. So go to my Twitter. Bye.
I'm Jen. I play here once a month as Beltane Hawthorne. I also play over on the Hype Goblins channel with Satan as my DM. That character's also in the hot seat. Boy, I did really fuck around and find out this week, didn't I? I'm also over at Valadrin's channel where I DM my homebrew world, the world of Ashenvale, and we're going through one of the arcs conquering a city because, you know, a bad vampire took over and they have to hopefully win.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. If you go onto Twitter, you can see my schedule on all the games that I play in publicly. Except for this one. I haven't put that on there, but like this happens once a month. Like it's hard to predict exactly when that's going to happen. So just watch the Indoor Adventures Twitter to know when Monster Noire is going to come out. That's it for me. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/IndoorAdventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/IndoorAdventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we play every single week, including full playthroughs of Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Curse of Strahd, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Tomb of Annihilation, and soon to be Tyrant Security as well. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us in the Discord. You can find the link down below or ask them in the Twitch chat to the side throughout the sessions. We will do our best to respond in kind. But with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you to GB for putting up with our bullshit once again this week. Featherfault, I am so sorry that you caught us at the very end. But with that, we are going to do a slight raid on... I think LB is still streaming, so there. We are going to be raiding them in just a little bit. Have fun. I hope you guys had a great time. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.